All right, welcome back. We're going to be doing another mock draft today. Updated order, just kind of generally how I think things will play out. You know, we won't know for quite some time, but I think they're in generally good orders. I like doing mock drafts. It's a good way to talk about NFL and college football, a little bit of both throughout the season, kind of weekly touch ups on how things are going. The Titans, I think ideally, if they got the number one overall pick, would be a trade back candidate. I'm not going to do trade backs right now. I think it's a little too far away from the draft to really consider that. So I know they need offensive line. There's no O lineman really worth the first overall pick or even anything close to it. Um, I think they could just go BPA, which for a lot of people might be Reese, might be Bain, might be Downs. I am in the boat that Ruben Bain is the best player in the draft. I am just a huge fan of the way he's been playing. I know he's cooled down a little bit over the past few weeks, but he's just a phenomenal all around player that I think you can kind of build a defense around. The Giants are definitely in deep need of a O lineman, but once again, I don't love O lineman. They're another team I could see potentially trading back for a quarterback needy team, pick up some assets and pick a lineman later. But as currently sat, I like them going Jordan Tyson. Wan'Dale Robinson's a free agent. I don't really think they're going to bring him back. They don't have the excess cap to really make that make sense. And Tyson is fantastic. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. Having an even better season this year than last year. Maybe not statistically, but he's just been consistent through the year. Um, he's my wide receiver one as of now, and I think he would make a great tandem with Malik Neighbors to really set Jackson Dart up. Browns, I think they will go QB, and that's probably what I would do. They also really need O line help. It's kind of unfortunate that for these three teams that O line is just it's a weak O line class, especially for tackle. Um, I could see them going if they want to wait on quarterback. I could see them going receiver. I could see them reaching on an O lineman if they really like one. But I would probably go quarterback. And at this point in time, I prefer Mendoza over Ty Simpson. I think he's got the size. I think he's got the arm. I think he would fit well with Stefanski, who's still it's not fired yet. So I'm just operating that on the assumption that he will be there. I think this would be a good fit. The Jets, they have tons of assets over the next 2 years. First round picks, second round picks. I don't think they have to take a quarterback. Next year's class should be better. I know that's what we were saying about this year, and obviously that didn't turn out well. If I were them, I would take Arvell Reese. I think he's a player you can really use as a cornerstone on their defense. Obviously, they got rid of their two cornerstones, so they need a new guy to build around. And I don't think you have to force a quarterback if you don't love it. Ty Simpson would work here, certainly, but I am going to roll with Arvell Reese. The Raiders, I will look at quarterback. Another team, their O line could use some help. I still don't love spending a top 10 pick on any of these tackles. It's not fantastic, especially a top 5 pick. Geno Smith's been terrible. It saddens me. I like Geno. I really wish he had a good year. I don't see Pete Carroll being back. I think he'll retire. I would probably roll Ty Simpson. I mean, you can't trot Geno Smith out there again. it's just not. It's just not worth it. Saints. I don't think they go QB anyway, but with the top two guys off the board, I don't think they're definitely not gonna go QB. They could use defensive line. They could use receiver. They could use offensive line. I mean, Cam Jordan's ancient and doesn't do anything anymore. I forget, is Chase Young even on the team? I kind of forgot what happened to him. If we look at receivers, Makai Lemon, Carnell Tate, and I like Denzel Boston a lot. I'm not a huge Chris Brazzell guy. If I were them, let's look at D line. David Bailey's still here. Let's go David Bailey. Get a really good pass rusher. Um, I mean, he's been phenomenal this year at Texas Tech. That Texas Tech D line's been really good as a whole. He just provides some juice on the edge, something they haven't really had since healthy young Cam Jordan. Washington Commanders, I think Caleb Downs makes a lot of sense. Their defense sucks. They kind of lack talent really everywhere. Marshawn Lattimore is completely washed and he's hurt now. I think Caleb Downs is a phenomenal player. PFF says he's not having that great of a year. Well, not great compared to last year, but I still think he's a phenomenal player. Versatile safety, play in the box, play deep, can man up tight ends. I think he's got the size for it. Yeah, he's a decently sized safety. He's not huge, but I think just a cornerstone in that secondary to really build around, I think would be a good thing. The Cardinals, probably moving on from Kyler if I had to guess. It just doesn't seem like a good fit now. It just seems like it's run its course, and he needs a change of scenery, and they need a change of scenery. I wouldn't spend the 8th overall pick on any of these guys. It's a little too rich for me for Dante Moore. I don't love him. Not a huge Dante Moore fan compared to how he's viewed. Once again, I don't love O-line. I'm in the range where I could start to stomach it. But I don't love it. Their secondary is fine. You could probably use corner, but I am going to go with Makai Lemon. I think he brings just such a different skill set than Marvin Harrison Jr. does. I like Michael Wilson, but he's more of a number 3 as opposed to a true number 2 receiver. And Makai Lemon just brings something that Marvin Harrison just doesn't have. They can kind of, I think they coexist very well. They have complementing skill sets in the receiver room. And whoever is quarterbacking next year, this will certainly help them out. The Minnesota Vikings, I really would think about Jeremiah Love here. Aaron Jones is getting old. I don't think Jordan Mason is a number 1. I think he's a really good kind of change of pace guy. So Jeremiah Love, I would certainly be interested in. I think he's probably one of the best players in the country this year. Interior line would make sense. It says safety, but I think they could go cornerback. I think there's actually some pretty good corners. Now, Jamad McCoy hasn't been healthy this year. I think he got injured in the playoffs last year. I don't quite remember. I like Mansour Delane a lot. I like Colton Hood a lot. It's a little early for him. I'm not a huge Avion Terrell person. I just don't think I think he lacks the size that I typically would like. He's more of a slender player. Mansour Delane. Do I go one of these guys or do I go Jeremiah Love? I would go Jeremiah Love, I think. Help the offense. See what you got in McCarthy. Give him no reason to not be good, essentially. The Dolphins are on the clock. If there's ever a team in the need of toughening up, of beefing up, of proving that they aren't soft finesse, break dancers, is the Miami Dolphins. And I think what a better pick to do that than Peter Woods. I know a lot of people are poo-pooing these Clemson players just because it's been an awful year for Clemson, but I still think he's a fantastic player. He's got really good size for the position. He moves well. He's got good pass rush ability, as you can see, 9.4% from the interior is pretty good. Very good, actually. I think this would be a slam dunk pick. Kenneth Grant hasn't been fantastic for them this year so far. He's kind of been putting it together a little bit towards the past couple of weeks. But I think giving him a good young running mate would be really good for that defense. The Los Angeles Rams, with first of their 2 picks in the draft, luxury, thanks Falcons. Hope Jalen Walker was worth it. He was not, turns out. Cornerback sticks out to me the most. I know their corners have been playing well. I know they got Roger McCreary, but I'm pretty sure he's a free agent after this year, so there's no guarantee he would be back. I think Jermod McCoy is an absolute slam dunk for a team that doesn't have any business having a top half of the draft pick. Here's where the first O-lineman will come off the board. This has to be O-line. Their O-line is atrocious. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's so bad. It's mismanagement. It's fraud how bad their O-line is. They should be charged with criminal charges for what they've done to this offensive line. Trading Laramie Tunsil because he gets too many false starts or whatever the hell they said. I am not strongly opinionated positively for any of these guys. I think Caleb Lomu is pretty good. If I had to hitch my wagon to somebody, I would say Caleb Lomu. I know Proctor's more of a guard. Maui Go is probably more of a guard. Dunker's probably more of a guard. I think I like the two Utah guys, but I'd probably prefer Lomu. And the grades haven't been great this year. They were supposed to be a very good duo coming into the year. I'm going to trust my gut and go Lomu at left tackle. I think this could potentially be back-to-back tackles. We took Mendoza with the first overall pick. Carnell Tate is still here, which is certainly fascinating. Their O-line stinks. They could use a corner as well. It just, their O-line's not good. It's getting older. I don't think it's the flashy pick. Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, Njoku, and Fannin should be enough. I think O-line is just such a need. It's so bad that they will go Spencer Fano. The Carolina Panthers. This is certainly a tough one because I think Bryce is terrible. Terrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think he's terrible. I think he sucks. And I think now that the roster around him is good enough, people are finally starting to realize what I've realized for years, is that he is not that good, and he's kind of a hindrance on this team. And that you're clearly not going to win the division, a playoff game, let alone a Super Bowl with him. So I don't think they're going to hold on to him for that long. I certainly wouldn't. The issue is, once again, I don't love Dante Moore. Definitely don't love Garrett Nussmeier. I like Mateer. Sellers scares me. Levitz should go back to school. Brennan Sorsby's been pretty good for Cincinnati. For a Cincinnati team that's not that bad. I just don't love quarterback here. So if it's not quarterback, I don't think it has to be edge, because Nick Scorton has been playing pretty good as of late. If you're just out on Leggett, then I think you could probably go Carnell Tate here. Give someone next to Tetero McMillan, kind of create a really good 1-2 punch. I think I like that better than Parker. Let's look. What other receivers are there? I like Tate better than Boston. Yeah, I like Tate better than all these guys. I think we're going to roll Carnell Tate. There we go. Dallas Cowboys, first of their 2 picks, thanks to the Micah Parsons trade. Although, no, it's next year that the Jets get one of their picks. O-line, Tyler Guyton has not been what they had hoped. I really don't like any of the tackles here. I mean, Maui Goa maybe would work. But sadly, losing Marshawn Nealon creates even more of a D-line help or D-line need than even before. And I think TJ Parker has kind of fallen in the draft, less of a flashy year, not as great as the year before, but I still think he's a heck of a player. And it would be a slam dunk to take him at 15. The Bengals kind of need anything on defense. Their needs should just say defense because it's atrocious, it's terrible, it's disgusting. Their linebackers are bad, their secondary's bad. They have no pass rush, they can't stop the run, it's terrible. I like looking at edge first. Not huge on Romello Height, not huge on Overton. I do really like Cassius Howell, though. If you're looking for a guy who can bring the juice, rush the passer, get you off the field on third down, I think Cassius Howell is absolutely the player to go with. And I think that'd be a good pair him up with his Texas A&M teammate, assuming he wasn't a transfer. We'll see how that goes. Niners could use O-line help. Could use some secondary help as well. I think their biggest need is probably pass rush, though, edge and interior. Without Nick Bosa, it's really just an uninspiring group. So maybe we see kind of a run here on D linemen. It's typically how it goes, typically a bit of a run. Caleb Banks has been hurt all year. He's a bigger bodied guy. I don't really remember him from last year, so we'll leave him on the board for now. I like our Mason Thomas. It feels a little early to snag him. I like Caden McDonald. I like Gabe Akis. Gabe Akis is a guy that I like. I like him a lot. It's Akis. It's a fun name. Keldrick Folk feels too much like Michael Williams to me. I feel like their skill sets are pretty overlapping. Maybe we don't go because they need juice. They need juice. Who brings juice? Our Mason Thomas brings juice. Wow. That's my alma mater. Poor Kent State. Got just annihilated by this guy. You know what? We're going to do it. We'll call our shot. Our Mason Thomas to the Niners. The Ravens, I have a fit that I think is amazing. Actually, I have two fits. It's funny enough. They're both from Ohio State. I think Sonny Styles and Caden McDonald would just be amazing on this team. I am going to roll Sonny Styles because I think him and Roquan Smith would just be probably the best linebacker duo in the league. I mean, Sonny Styles is athletic. He's got a feel for zone. He's a good man coverage guy, and he's got the size. He's not one of these linebackers. 6'5", 243. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's a little bigger than that. He's not one of these linebackers who is 6'1", 235. 6'3", 238. He's decently sized. 6'2", 228. 5'10", 227. He is a big, thumping linebacker who is smart, who can cover. I think he would be fantastic with Roquan Smith. Bears need edge, rush, I need oxygen to live. Keldrick Folk is really just like a high floor, lower ceiling kind of player. I think these grades kind of show it perfectly. He's more of a run defense guy than a true pass rusher, so I don't love that. But they really need edge help. I don't love Romello Height. It's kind of in the opposite vein. Gabe Akis, it's probably a little early. LT Overton, I have not been a big fan of this year. I just don't think he's been all that impressive. I don't know much about Quincy Rhodes. Ugh. I like Folk better than Height. I'm not sold on Romello Height. But he just fits what they need so much better. They need a player in this mold a lot more than they need a player in the mold of Keldrick Folk. So we'll roll with that. Pittsburgh Steelers up next. I am of the assumption that Aaron Rodgers will retire. He's played well. It's certainly regressed as the season's gone on, probably because of age, if we're being honest. If Tate were here, I would absolutely run to the board to draft Tate. I don't love Boston as much as I love Tate, although he is my next receiver. Tackles, I don't love any of these guys. I mean, maybe Maui Goa, but for the Steelers, I'd want someone a little more solid at the position, is what I'll say. I really like Mansour Delane. I think Darius Slay is absolutely done. He's gonna retire because he's terrible this year. I'm not sold on Joey Porter Jr. Asante Samuel, who they just signed, is always hurt, and I think they want to permanently move Ramsey to safety. So that really doesn't leave you anybody else. So I think Mansour Delane fits in perfectly. This is an easy one for me. Kenyon Sadiq. Statistically and grades wise, hasn't had the season that he had last year, but he's absolutely the pick for the Broncos, who brought in Evan Ingram to just do cardio, I guess. The Dallas Cowboys, we got TJ Parker for them earlier. Could really double dip with Keldrick Falk, and that would just be incredible. I'm trying to, but they have Donovan Ezeraku from last year, so I don't think they would do that. Sonny Styles is gone, so I don't really think they'd go linebacker. They could use Maui Goa. That could be a thing. They also could go Denzel Boston. I'm not so sure George Pickens re-signs, because the last thing we heard is that they hadn't even discussed it. And knowing Jerry Jones, he'll probably just let him walk. And I like Denzel Boston enough. Compliments CeeDee Lamb well enough that I think that's a good pick. The Chargers definitely need edge help. Their pass rush is not fantastic, and it's aging. Their O-line outside of their two amazing tackles is just straight garbage. So I could see them Maui Goa turn him into a guard, which I think he probably is better at anyway. I know Caden Proctor is also probably a guard, and then I don't know how to pronounce this. He's having a very good year for a not great Penn State team. But I'll roll Maui Goa with the idea that they kick him inside to guard. Tampa Bay Bucks. I think Keldrick Falk makes all the sense in the world. They need an edge rusher. They need someone who can help set the edge, defend the run. And I think he's probably a better pass rusher than Mykel Williams was coming out of college. I know they're kind of in similar categories, but I like him better than I liked Mykel Williams. So I think that's a good fit there. The Jets, who took Arvell Reese already. Here's a spot where I'd be interested in Dante Moore or John Mateer. This is the range where I'd be comfortable with those two, maybe Lenora Sellers. I'm not going to do that, though. Let's look at receiver. Because outside of Garrett Wilson, it's terrible. It's truly disgusting. I am not a big fan of Chris Brazzell. That is for sure. I don't like him, and I don't like the Tennessee offense producing receivers. Casey Concepcion is a guy who certainly interests me. Him and probably Elijah Surratt are my next two guys. I know a lot of people love Chris Bell. I don't love Chris Bell in the first round. I think I like Concepcion better, but I feel like I like the Surratt fit on the team better. Brings kind of a different skill set. We'll roll Concepcion. I think the gap between those two is a little decently sized. So we'll roll Concepcion here. The Lions, I think, could use some secondary help. Terron Arnold hasn't been super impressive, and I think they could maybe look to add to that room because it's not fantastic outside of Arnold either. Guys I like here: Colton Hood, AJ Harris, Keith Abney. I'm not super familiar with Brandon Cease, and I don't love Avion Terrell. I probably lean Colton Hood or Keith Abney. I like AJ Harris too. He is a little on the slender side. I would probably roll with Colton Hood. This one makes perfect sense to me in my mind. Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking of somebody else. I was thinking of a different team. If I were the Bills, I also think I look secondary. It's certainly not fantastic. You're going to have to deal with, Drake May in the division. Once again, like Abney. I like Harris. I like AJ Halsey. Those are kind of the next three I'd be looking at. You know what? Let's give them a ball hawking safety on the back end. Run on secondary is what this feels like. I doubt they go interior offensive line in back-to-back years. I could also see receiver being an option with Cooper Kupp getting older. And Jake Bobo has been solid, and Torrey Horton also been pretty impressive as a rookie, so we'll hold off on that for now. Reek Woolen is gone. There's no way he remains on this team next year. But I think Keith Abney, how big is Brandon Cease? He's a bigger guy too. I think Keith Abney would be a cornerback that this front office and coaching staff likes. Bigger, more physical guy. Certainly bigger and more physical than Avion Terrell, and AJ Harris is a little more slender. So we'll roll Keith Abney there. The Patriots is a team I like for receiver. Stephon Diggs isn't getting any younger. Pop Douglas is what he is. Probably a number 3. So this is certainly a spot I like to get a young weapon, and that young weapon is Elijah Surratt for me. Eagles, I think, is probably going to be edge. I know Nolan Smith is coming back this week, I believe. But, man, I just don't love the edge rushers here. It also certainly could be cornerback, because outside of Mitchell, it has not been great. I don't think they would like Terrell. Harris hasn't had a great year, but I still think there's a good player in there. And I don't know much about Brandon Cease. Maybe I'll come to like him, but just pretty unfamiliar. We're going to roll with my gut, and we're going to roll AJ Harris to the Eagles. The Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of, in this scenario, a Super Bowl loss, I think certainly need defensive line, whether it's edge or interior. And I would probably roll with Banks here. I think it might be one of those guys where they draft him, and in a year we look back and go, how did he fall to the Chiefs? How did he not get picked up? Obviously because of injury, but I think they just need beef on the inside. I mean, Chris Jones is getting old, and he's not played up to Chris Jones' standard. Excuse me. And that D-line just needs beef. It needs juice, and I think Caleb Banks would do a good job at bringing that. In this case, the LA Rams, coming off of a Super Bowl win, have already picked Jermon McCoy for the secondary. I could see this being someone like Saraveld or Miller or Prongos, maybe. But, I think whether Stafford retires or not, I think this is the perfect opportunity to get your future starting quarterback for after Stafford. I mean, we know he's going to be going soon. They have the luxury, thank you Falcons, of a top 11 pick. They have a pretty complete roster, and they've already added a top corner in the class. So I think this is a great chance to draft a quarterback of the future. And in this circumstance, they really have their pick of the litter outside of the top two. I am a John Mateer guy personally. I think he was playing pretty fantastically before the hand injury. I think he's got the right combination of decent enough size. I'll be curious to see what he officially weighs in and his official height is. It's a little small for my liking, but I think he's got enough mobility, enough shiftiness. I don't think he's just a scrambler. I think you can actually do designed runs with him. And I think he's a good enough passer of the ball. I think he can work his way through the pocket well, that he is who I would take here. So there you have it. Once it loads, this is my second mock draft of the season. I just like doing these kind of snapshots of where we are with NFL teams and their needs, as well as where prospects are kind of landing. Let me know what you guys think down below. If there's any picks you love, any picks you hate, any guys that you just want to pound the table for that absolutely should be in the first round that weren't. Subscribe if you want to watch more content like this. I'm certainly going to be putting more out. This tier rankings, just opinion videos. So if you're interested, subscribe, like the video, and I will talk to you.